Good morning, everyone. I'm running a little later than I thought because I needed to wash my hair. We have Clyde with us this morning, so you will hear the noise of chewing in the background. So I'll try my best to stay focused while we've got him on board. Okay, so before we start, my reading now is limited for the next couple of weeks. I've got a number of things I need to attend to. So if you would like a personal reading with me, I think next week I'm only available Wednesday, Thursday, as I'm going to go and have my tooth done on Tuesday. So that'll be, not that I have a new tooth, I go through the next stage. And then the following week, so I'm actually off uni next week, so I might get a bit more chance to go live, but not so much chance to do personal readings. So I'll leave you with that. If you want a personal reading, www.theaussiegoddess.com. Where you can book and pay for your reading up front in a time frame that suits you. Sounds like a great spiel. So thank you for those who've supported me along the way. I will expect a few of you on this morning, I'm sure, although I'm a bit late, so you may have thought I wasn't coming. All right, we're going to do the What's Cracking online too today. So I'll do the What's Cracking and the Taurus reading, hopefully have a bit of a chit chat. I'm just finishing up on uni semester, so I've got some work to still do there, but slowly getting there. Thank you to all of you who've come to it for a personal reading as well, because I've had a lot of word of mouth lately, and that's always awesome. But it's lovely the people out there who, I guess, advocate for me or talk about me or tell their friends about me. So I'm very grateful for you. All right, let's see what's happening in the What's Cracking world. I thought we'd use the Arcanum Tarot. I'm going to change decks probably for next week, but I've enjoyed sort of revisiting some of these. I like to give them equal wear and tear because they do get a bit shabby around the edges. Okay, for those of you who are members of the channel, please make sure that I've got your email address and that you've contacted me in regard to having a half an hour coaching session with me. That's not reading, it's coaching. So you can use the coaching for tarot, help with tarot, which a couple of people have done, or you can use the coaching for like a personal issue that you need some help to work through. Either way, if you haven't had a coaching session with me yet, I offered it to everybody, all members. So if you want to have that, please email me and let me know. And I hope next week to do a little few extra meets with you guys, because I haven't really been able to catch you all online when I've gone online. So I much appreciate your support. All right, let's get into this. So we're starting off with the Page of Cups. This is the card of Pisces. I have to do this. It all goes back to front here. So it's like it inverts and then inverts again. So we're starting off with Pisces. So the card of Pisces is a page, and a page generally talks about messages coming through. When we see the Page of Cups, we know it's a message in regards to love. Now, it doesn't always mean it's romantic, because I feel like lately I've had to sort of say to people, this isn't always romantic. Use your intuition. Sometimes this can mean an invite somewhere by a friend or a family member, but there's love here. But it's also talks of creativity, the cup. So it could be, for example, an invite to a concert or an invite to a band you want to see because you have great love for them, or it can be something like a job offer or an offer to learn. But again, it's more around creativity. So you might get that in the email, for example. All right, we have the Empress there. So for me, the Empress talks about being really close to nature. It is about being comfortable in your own environment. It is about birthing new things, because the Empress is always pregnant. No, that doesn't mean a physical pregnancy. It can mean that you're ready to birth a new idea, or that you're ready to sort of bring something new into the world. So Oh, hi Moira, how you going? Lovely to see you on board. I think you always join me. I need to know why I can always catch you. It must be a good time of day for you. Because I have a feeling you're in the States, are you? But I just seem to catch you at the right time. Um, so the Empress for me is divine feminine energy. She is about the environment, keeping our environment nice, taking care of everything around. Hey Aaron, how you going? Um, so when the Empress comes around, especially with something like this, I'm inclined to think it may be, and it could be, a romantic invitation. But it could be an invitation to express yourself, speak publicly, sell your product, all of those sort of things too, with the Empress coming through. All right, now behind that we have the Hermit. I'm just going to check behind that we have the Moon. So as you can see, a lot of major arcana is coming through this morning. That's Clyde. Chewing on a bottle. So we have the Hermit card coming through, but we also have the Moon. So there's more Pisces energy here. So what this makes me feel like, especially with this Hermit card, is there may have been something that you've taken time out on. Like you could have studied. It could mean that you haven't sort of been as social as you normally thought. Venus was amazing. Nice, you watching Venus. But when the Moon comes around with the Hermit like that in Australia, oh, cool. No, I never saw it. I think I'll go and have a look at some photos so you could actually see Venus today. So this sort of says to me that you may have been keeping a little bit private, a little bit quiet at the moment, but I feel like with this sort of energy, you're ready to sort of jump out into the world, which is beautiful. Ah, that's right. Good time of the day, just done work. I knew it must have been, Moira, because I always see you and I think it's lovely that you always join me. So I feel like somehow or another you're ready to venture forward on something. Oh, now that changes the energy a little bit because you've got the Emperor and the Empress in this reading. So to me, maybe you haven't had contact with somebody for a while. You may have been healing. Taking the time out to heal from a relationship. If this is romantic for you, I feel like somebody's coming in with a love offer here. So let's have a look. So we have the Five of Pentacles with the Seven of Wands, the King of Pentacles with the King of Swords. Interesting energy. I feel like this could be definitely romantic for some of you. It feels like somebody is making contact with you after a period of time of laying low. Absolutely. You may not have heard from this person for a while. If you identify as a twin flame, then it's very likely that with having the Emperor and Empress in a reading, divine masculine, divine feminine. So I feel like here, whatever's going on, you may have definitely taken time out to heal. Without a doubt here. But it's not just about the healing aspect. It's also about your personal growth with the Empress and the Emperor sort of about power. So if it's not romantic for you, you may be being invited to somewhere where the potential is that you can get, hey, Sam, how you going? I'm very well. Did you stay up to watch me again? You're a delight. And it could be that you have taken time out to revitalize yourself, to repower yourself, because you're ready to get back out into the world after a period of time, perhaps of laying low. Now, I feel like if, especially say, for example, if you've had a baby, that period of time where you're sort of getting through, finding, 10:30, that's late for me. I'm well and truly asleep by then. Oh, well, I'm a twin flame, but I'm sure there are other people in the room that are. There are a lot of people on my channel, Aaron, that are. So I work a lot with twin flames. So some people, it's really funny. A friend of mine, Lenore, always talks about the fact you're never in separation, that separation is only true in the sort of in the 3D world, that you're still always connected to your person. So it's sort of, for a lot of people, they're still in that phase. And for other people, they have come together. So I've sort of seen a lot of both sides of the story. And the people who've come back together after, several months, it is a journey. I'll agree with you. It took me probably, I'd say, a good 2 years to come to terms with everything I needed to come to terms with. But I was so grateful at the end of that time because I learned so much about myself. So I feel like here it's possible that this could be a twin flame reading, but I'm also going to talk to the other people too about, taking time out, revitalizing, healing. Oh, you've been 4 years. Yeah, mine's been about 4 years now, but about 2 years to get over. Well, you should talk about what you did, what sort of work you did on yourself. Mine was huge. Like, I just had no idea how I'd walked around with this big burden on my back for so long. So there was so much purging and working. I will get back to the reading because somebody will say, "Oh, you get too easily distracted," and I just think that's like autism, ADHD. It's just a part of it. So I feel like for many of you here, you may have been taking time out. You could have been studying, for example, if you've had a baby. Yeah, beautiful. It's tough work. Maybe we can do a session, and I can do a twin flame session next week and call in the people so you can hear everybody's stories, because I think it would be very interesting. For those of you who are not twin flames who are watching this reading, I would say to you, you've taken time out to do some healing, and I feel like you're ready to sort of burst back onto the scene again. I see a lot of energy around resources, power, money, conversations. So I feel like perhaps you've got to a point where you're feeling really enthusiastic. You may be feeling much more confident about yourself. And you may be, like I would say, standing in your truth, really standing in the person that you were meant to be. So I see a lot of movement forward now. Yeah, you may have had, I think we had this energy yesterday. If you are a twin flame, it's not unusual to see this sort of energy. Why? Because the star tells us it's part of our destined journey for us to meet someone, to open up, to crack ourselves open, to get back to who we were meant to be. When the devil comes up, it tells us there are ego issues within us that need to be resolved. So that can be, the things you've been taught as a child, upbringing, trauma, attachments, all those sort of things that need to be worked on when that devil energy comes around. So you could have also been dealing with a Capricorn or an Aquarius here as well. Clyde's having fun with his bottle this morning. All right, so we have the Cancer card coming through with the Page of Wands. I feel like somehow or another you are going to be offered something here. I'm not really sure that it would have, the offer you're going to get would have been, "Hey, Tony, how you going?" Thank you. I feel like if this is a twin flame connection, your person is definitely stepping up. You may be getting communication. You may be hearing something about them. Sometimes when I see communication, it's all of these things when I say to people somebody's going to communicate, and it might not necessarily be a direct communication. It can be that your person or somebody steps forward and talks about your person, and that can come through as communication. So always take that one with a grain of salt. But I feel like you could be dealing with a Cancer here, and you have the Ten of Cups at the end. All right, for those of you who are in a twin flame connection, I feel like over the next, few weeks, you're probably going to hear something about somebody or hear. I really feel like it's maybe through somebody else. But I feel like you're going to touch base somehow. Now, if you're a twin flame, very often you still feel that connection. You still communicate in the 5D world, and it's still, oh, sorry to see you go, Aaron. I will put something up about doing something next week. I'll work out my timing, and thank you, Tony. That's beautiful. Thank you. And we'll see what we can do, Aaron. I'm thinking it might be a really good idea to get some people on to talk about their experiences so other people can learn through someone else's healing. So have a fabulous day. But for others of you, if this isn't a twin flame connection, it does feel like you're getting an offer of something, and it could be romantic. It could be that you're getting an offer to, I almost want to say with that Emperor energy, put yourself out there into the world. Maybe somebody, you do something like this, for example, and somebody's seen you and said, right, I want to get you out on the stage, or I want to get you on a TV show or a radio and get you really out into the public, because you're definitely sort of ready to sort of burst out of your own skin here, and it feels like really nice energy. So I feel like somehow or another It's about getting your power back, standing in your power. I feel like you've been healing. You've been sort of maybe away from the world. Hey, Latiga, how you going? Maybe been away from the world for some time, but see, you're ready to sort of branch out here. And look at this. I didn't even look at the cards behind that. So I reckon it's sort of like I'm ready for new experiences. Maybe you've had a love affair or a love in the past and you've been healing from that. And now you're ready to go out and get another love offer. Maybe you're ready to sort of get yourself out into the world again. Maybe you feel really comfortable with where you are. Maybe you know you won't make the same mistakes again. Whatever it is, it's like really earning your power back, doing what you need to do. That's my dog. I bring him in with me because I think I said to everybody, we lost our female a couple of weeks ago. My partner was devastated because he's had her for quite a long time. And she had to be put down, which was really heartbreaking for us. But for him, he has just got this huge abundance of energy now. And I just can't, he gets up in the morning and he just does zoomies around the house and usually up against me. I'm absolutely covered in dog hair for at least the first half an hour until I settle him down. But I discovered a long time ago he actually likes chewing on plastic bottles. So I take all the stuff off them and he just goes on it when it gets too scrunched up. Ben, how you going? Long time no see. When it gets too scrunched up, I take it off him. All right, let's read you an oracle card for the What's Cracking reading. And What's Cracking is the bottle behind me, by the sounds of things. I'd pick him up and show him to you, but he will be wanting more attention then, and he will think that I've got the time to spend with him and he won't leave me alone. Just settle down in a minute. Oh, I have the card of Yang. All right, very good advice after that reading. So Yang, very good. This is card number 1, New Beginnings. The masculine principle of movement and creative activity, the power to make things happen and taking action. So I really feel like here you've had a period of time where you've laid low, you might have been doing some healing, but you've certainly not been out and about, and we can all relate to that. But this is the power of action. This is taking the power now. So it's very much about you getting out, enjoying yourself and doing what you need to do. For some of you, it might be some sort of invitation that gets you going again. I feel like this invitation, though, is going to spark something within you that perhaps you've laid dormant, as it were. All right. It's lovely to see so many people on board this morning. And I said I'd do the reading for the sign of Taurus as well. So what's the time? Can somebody just put up Taurus, when you get to the end of this, put up that Taurus was on 18 minutes? So I don't, because I forget. My mind's too busy. I'm doing assignments and trying to finish off for this semester, and I've got like a pile of things on my desk next to me to do and I keep putting off. So let's go to Taurus. But first, let's talk about astrology, because I do this every time I do a star sign, and I think it's really important. And I know a lot of the people, you've been with me for a while, you will actually put up your main aspects. So when we're talking main aspects, usually the sign you identify as is your sun sign. And that's the sign we use most in Western astrology. In the Eastern astrologies, they use the moon sign. So those two signs, sun and moon, are both different aspects of yourself. So if you think about it, the sun may be the side of yourself that you show to the world, the person people see every day, which is your Taurus energy. But your moon sign might be who you really are, or who you are underneath. It's sort of like looking at maybe yourself and your shadow. And then we have the ascendant or rising. So if you can find your ascendant or rising, it's very often the part that other people see in you that sort of stands out. Your ascendant is in Taurus, yeah. So it's really good to see what they actually mean. And there is a lot more depth to this, of course. But if you're interested in doing that, you can Google a natal chart or a birth chart and bring up, you have to put in your time of birth and where you were born. And then if you've got your date of birth and where you were born, and if you've got your time of birth, even better, because you can find your rising and your ascendant. But you can still get a really good birth chart without those. If you can have an estimate, you can sometimes work it out yourself. So if somebody says to you, oh, it was around 2 o'clock, you can have a look at what star signs were there at that time and see whether it resonates with you. So all of those are aspects of who you are. And then the other planets were in different houses when you were born. Hey, Paula, how are you going? And that's really good to look at too, because, for example, if you're interested in how you work, you can look up Saturn and see what house Saturn was in when you were born, and it would talk about your work ethic. If you want to learn what sort of lover you are or what sort of person you are in regards to love, then you can look up your Venus and find out where Venus is. I always say mine Venus was in Aquarius in retrograde when I was born, which sort of poses a whole heap of problems that I related to when I first started looking into this. But things like Lilith, your Lilith is really good for understanding some of your darker aspects. And you can understand the sort of partner you may go after, or that would be good for you, the sort of match you need. He's really noisy, isn't he? Good old Clyde. So it's good to look up all those things. So Taurus, we're going to use the Wild Unknown Tarot for your reading this morning. But good to know all those aspects of yourself. And you will really relate to them. The only thing I've noticed, because I kept my birth chart, and the only thing I've noticed quite a lot is how much you change as you get older. Like if you're really open-minded and you see some aspects of yourself in your birth chart that perhaps you don't feel so comfortable with, you can actually work on them. So, for example, if it comes up and says you're not a social person, maybe it will become, hey, Laurie, how you going? It may be something you can work on to become a little bit more comfortable with socializing. If it says something like you don't have a lot of motivation, then you can really work on your motivation. So I really feel if you're healing and you're very open-minded to things, it's really good to look at those aspects that you can improve about yourself. I don't know that we can fully change, but we can certainly be aware of that. And I'm not fond of sort of focusing on, I've got the Justice card coming, so just jumped out. I'm not fond of focusing on your limitations, but I can certainly feel that you can benefit by working with those limitations. So you don't have to change, but it's more like, for example, it may be, mine. You know, I was absolutely terrified of heights. I couldn't even stand on a second-story veranda without sort of getting vertigo. And I remember thinking, this is going to be horrible. And I flew a couple of times when I was younger, and I probably didn't think about it so much. But all I wanted to do was travel. And I thought, if I'm terrified every time I get on a plane, how am I ever going to do what I want to do? So I started to look at how I could improve that. It still makes me a little nervous. So I say to people, if they ask, maybe I'm a bit of a nervous flyer, but I'm a lot more confident than I was before. I found a tremendous book on flying by a person, an English person who had worked with people who had a fear of flying, and that conquered my fear of heights. So even though I'm still a little bit nervous when I get up high, and if I see people in clips where they're walking on those glass floors, I very nearly vomit. But I do try to challenge my fears. I do try, there's Clyde. I do try to work with those to strengthen myself. And I may not completely conquer them, but I can certainly say I don't limit myself with them. All right, Taurus, let's get into your reading. Okay, so we're starting off with the Hierophant. So the Hierophant, I like the Hierophant. It can talk about, because it's the high priest, so it can talk about religion. It can talk about things that we traditionally go after. So, you know, sometimes it might be that you believe in marriage over living together, but it's often can be religious. It also is something that I relate to being stable, being sturdy, commitment, all of those things that sort of make you feel like you're in a really good place and comfortable with where you are. So the Hierophant's coming through first, and we're following that up with the Queen of Swords. You know, the Justice card jumped out when I was shuffling. And the Justice card, the Queen of Swords, and the Hierophant for me could mean somebody's going through something legal, or waiting for some sort of result legally, you know, like a class action. But that's the sort of energy those three cards give me together. The other thing they could give me, 8 and 8 on the clock up, on the numbers for thumbs up and people in the room. The other thing it can give me, because the Queen of Swords very often gives me the feeling of divorce or separation. So it could be that you are in a position where you're separating or leaving something behind. Maybe not legal, but it can certainly, yeah. Okay, sort of similar energy coming through as the What's Cracking reading in a way, because it makes me feel like perhaps you've been maybe not so much quiet and holding back or healing, but maybe you've been sort of biding your time on something, waiting for a result. So sometimes, especially with the Strength card, because it does talk about that taming of your shadow side, sometimes we take time out just to understand something physical or logical rather than emotional and spiritual. So it could be that you've been waiting for the result of something, and because of that, you've been building your own strength. Now, we do have some sort of communication coming through with the Judgment card. Wow. Okay. And we do have the 7 of Cups here with the 2 of Wands. You're moving in a brand new direction. You could be going towards a Capricorn, but I feel like here this is definitely to do with work. If you've got a case pending at work regarding some sort of mistreatment or you know how we may have had an accident at work, we may have been put off, sacked. Maybe you've got some sort of case going on with that, and that feels like that's why you've been taking time out. The other thing is, have you been through something that is maybe not legal, or that really does feel like I'm talking to somebody about some legal stuff, but maybe it is more about needing to take time out from something because of what you endured. That may not mean healing as in a spiritual sense, although it could be that deep. It may be that you've taken time out, say, from a job because you had a bad experience in your work. So let's get into it a little deeper. It could always be a relationship too, because we've got the 3 of Swords out here. So again, there's this energy of having to take time out from something. 5 of Wands, that's conflict, mental conflict. Could have been dealing with a Leo, Sag, or Aries here. And we have the 7 of Pentacles. To me, you know, with this sort of energy, you're sort of, it's almost like you're pulling your resources together and sort of, you know, where am I going? What am I doing? Where do I go to now? So if you've got a divorce or you split from someone, for me, this would be the period where you are trying to get yourself back on your feet again to start up something new. So we have the Moon card with the 4 of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles coming through. So if this is in regard to a job or work, I feel like once you feel on top of this, you're going to really be able to pull in and manifest what it is you need here. There's a lot of Pentacles here. So you could have been doing it tough because you didn't have money. You could have been doing it tough because you didn't have the resources. But for me, you could have been taking that time out to do university or learn a new trade or something as well. But you're ready to jump back into it here. Absolutely. All right, 3 of Pentacles. Timing is beautiful. You've got the Ace of Pentacles here. There is a job offer on the horizon. If this is you and you've taken time out because you left another job or you need a job and you've been taking time out to heal, learn, whatever it is, as soon as you open the door, it's like Spirit is saying, right, we're right there with you now. So it's almost this energy of being able to jump straight back into something. Do we have any Tauruses in the room? I've only got a few people in the room, but just out of curiosity. Ben, your ascendant is Taurus. So there's something about to hit you hard here in a good way. An opportunity coming at you. It's definitely financial. There's money everywhere in this reading, and it's all aligned with your spiritual path here. So if you were trying to get something off the ground and you've been like learning your craft, or even honing your craft would probably be a better way of saying it, then I feel like you're ready to go. So whatever this is, an opportunity is coming. There's the moon energy coming through in this reading too, which I feel like whatever this offer is may come from left field. Like you may not actually see it coming. It may be through somebody else. You know, when somebody says, I've just heard about this great opportunity, go follow it up. But the Hierophant here, you could be getting an offer from a large organization. You could be getting an offer of commitment. But for me, this feels like it may be quite a worky reading or a self-development reading. But whatever it is, you look like you're coming out in front. And I think it's quite timely for you. It's like, this is a good time. I've done what I need to do. I'm ready to jump into my next adventure. So beautiful reading, Taurus. I feel like timing is right for you. All right, let's have a look at your oracle card for that reading. I don't know why I'm being told to draw two, but I'm going to draw two. Okay, so you have the owl and the bear coming through here. So let's have a look. I think that, you know, when I go for the energy of those two cards, not knowing what they actually typically mean, the owl makes me feel like you're much wiser. You're ready because you have a better attitude, or okay, nice. Ben, that was, yeah, very good. So the owl makes me feel you're much wiser, you're much smarter, you've got the information you need, you're where you need to be, you're very much in that Queen of Swords energy with that. The bear card also makes me feel like I don't like the word brave, because brave to me is very judgmental. So I want to say that you're well equipped, you're confident, and you are ready to move forward with that bear. So let's have a look and see what they actually both mean. Bears in that section. Oh, bear, wolf, deer. Deer, wolf, spider, horse. Must be further back. There we go. And the owl. There's the owl. All right, so the owl says this is about abundance, clairvoyance, and treasure. The owl is a mysterious and otherworldly creature found in folklore from east to west. The white owl in this particular deck is a companion of the goddess Lakshmi and represents wealth, beauty, and good fortune. When the owl card appears, it's an omen that a boon or treasure is on the way, either in spiritual or material form. With our wisdom on your side, you'll see and know exactly what to do with this boon, and it can further serve your dharma and bring abundance to the world. Trust that the wellspring of treasures is infinite. So that's very resonant with the reading. With the bear one, it's walking from spiritual slumber. So that's what it feels like you're coming out of a period of time where you've been healing or doing things. Yeah, it's beautiful when they line up the oracle cards for me. I'm very grateful for that. The bear, I remember finding out about that 3303 on the clock. I remember finding out about bears and being really shocked by this idea. And maybe you all know, especially if you're in a place where there are lots of bears. But I always thought that when bears went into hibernation, that they actually went to sleep for a period of time. So I grew up thinking hibernation meant a long period of sleep. But it's not actually how it works. They just slow their metabolism down for a period of time where they don't need to eat as much in the winter, or they don't need to hunt as much because their body doesn't need as much food. And I did not know that. I always thought they'd gone to sleep for 6 months while the winter was there. So that really blew me away, one of those things. So this is waking from spiritual slumber and beginning anew. So after a long winter, the bear arises from deep slumber. See, everybody thinks the same thing, right? At first, the movement and effort are difficult, but the bear knows it's time to awaken and move towards the dawning light. This is really resonant with the readings today. The bear card represents an individual on the cusp of new directions and personal transformation. The initial weeks and months of the spiritual guest may feel tricky, cumbersome, and full of obstacles, but you have no choice there. Winter wanes, the warmth of spring emerges, and your transformation begins. It's a bit of a Jon Snow moment there. So I feel like both of those together, it's almost like, yeah, you've woken from a slumber, you've woken from your healing, everything's going to fall into place now. So whatever it is that you've been trying to create or manifest is about to fall into your lap. So beautiful. Now I understand why they wanted me to pull 2 cards. All right, that's it for me. I've pretty much kept to my 30 minutes. So thank you all for joining me. Some of you will be watching this later. Thank you for your support. Much love to you all, and have a great day.